Welcome back. Now we have some pretty solid mechanics for combat. There is one issue though, and we're going to fix that in this video. And that issue is this. If we enter the enemy's combat range sphere, then in the enemy's behavior tree, this in attack range decorator will now allow us to execute this attack node. Now, if we move just outside the attack sphere, then we're no longer in that attack mode, and the behavior tree will move on and execute the next branch, which is to move to the character. Now, if we go back inside this attack range sphere, the enemy will attack again. And so the problem arises when we are inside the sphere and then out of the sphere, and then back in the sphere and out of the sphere over and over again very rapidly. If that happens, each time we enter the sphere, the enemy will attack, and this allows the enemy to attack potentially multiple times very quickly. Let's see if we can reproduce this issue. So we're in the sphere, we're out, we're in, we're out, and the enemy continues to hit very, very rapidly. So it's as if that wait time doesn't exist. So we're going to create a variable that will prevent us from being able to attack, and we'll set this variable in C++. Let's go ahead and get started. So here in enemy.h, I'm going to go into our private section and add a new variable, and this is going to be a Boolean. So this bool can be called b_can_attack. Now b_can_attack should be true by default, so I'm going to go ahead and go into our enemy.cpp constructor and give this a default value of true. So b_can_attack initialized to true. Now b_can_attack should have a U property, and it should be visible anywhere. And I'm going to give it the category of combat and copy the meta specifier. Now I don't really care about setting it from blueprints, and I want it to be set from C++, so we don't need to be able to set it in the editor. I'm going to give this a comment and say true when enemy can attack. Now I'd like to set this to false when we attack and set a timer that will set it back to true after a certain minimum amount of time, so that way we can prevent attacks being spammed on the character. Now since we're setting a timer, we're going to need an ftimer handle, and I'm going to call this attack wait timer. Now we're going to need a callback function for when this timer is over, and we can call this function reset can attack. And I'm going to put this all the way up here at the protected section. So this will be a void function, and it'll be called reset can attack. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a function body for this, and all I want to do in this function is set b_can_attack back to true. So now we have our callback for the timer. So we have this attack wait timer and a callback function for it. We also need a float for the attack wait time. So let's create a float and call this attack wait time. And we should be able to set this from blueprints. So let's give this a U property and make this edit anywhere, category combat, and meta allow private access equals true. And for the comment, we're going to say minimum wait time between attacks. Now for attack wait time, we're going to give this a default value, and I think I'll give this a value of 1.f, so there's a minimum of 1 second in between attacks. So now we need to know when to set b_can_attack to false, and when do we check b_can_attack. First, we need to check to see if we can attack before we play the attack montage. Now here's our play attack montage function. This is where we are definitely attacking. So we can set b_can_attack to false here, and we can set the timer. So we're going to say get world timer manager, set timer, attack wait timer, and I'll put these each on their own lines here. Next, we're going to pass in this, then our function callback, a enemy reset can attack. And finally, we need our reset time, which is going to be attack wait time. So when we play the attack montage, we're setting b_can_attack to false and starting the timer, and when the timer is over, then we call reset can attack, which will set b_can_attack back to true. Now this provides us with a Boolean variable that we can check in C++, and that's pretty useful. But if we want to determine behavior in the behavior tree, we also need to create a key in the behavior tree and set that here. So let's go ahead and go back in the editor, and in the behavior tree, we're going to click on Blackboard and add a new key of bool type, and we're going to call this CanAttack. Go ahead and save that. Now, here in Play Attack Montage, we're also going to get our enemy controller. So we're going to say if enemy controller, then we'll get our enemy controller and call get Blackboard component. And from there, we're going to call set value as bool. Now, this is going to take an F name for the name of the key, and this is going to be CanAttack. And then we need to pass the value, and this is going to be false. We're setting CanAttack to false. Now we also need to set this to true in reset CanAttack. So let's go back to reset CanAttack and paste in this code where we're setting that Blackboard key CanAttack to false. Only here we're going to set CanAttack back to true. Now we also need to set this to true in begin play so that the Blackboard key will start off in the correct value. So let's go up to begin play, and here in begin play we need to scroll down until we see where we're setting the enemy controller here. After this line we can start to access the enemy controller. So I'm going to paste right beneath it this code where we're setting the Blackboard key CanAttack to true. Okay, so we can go ahead and compile this. And while this is compiling, we can go back in the editor and open the behavior tree. And right here on this sequence where we're trying to attack, we can add another decorator. So I'm going to right click and add a decorator and select Blackboard. And for this new Blackboard based condition, I'm going to rename the node to say CanAttack. And our Blackboard key is going to be CanAttack. And our key query should be isSet. Now, if CanAttack is set, in other words, this bool key is true, then we should be able to attack. Otherwise, we should not. Now, just like our isStun and inAttackRange decorators, we should have notifyObserver set to onResultChange and observerAborts set to self. So let's select CanAttack and use onResultChange, and observerAborts should be set to self. Go ahead and save that. Now, before we test this out, I'm going to go ahead and open up our enemies folder, get our enemy BP, and search for attack wait time. And let's set this to a big number such as 5. So we'll definitely see a big wait, like 5 seconds, between attacks. Now, I'm going to take behavior tree and click on Blackboard and undock this so I can see the CanAttack bool key. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit play and aggro the monster. And now we can see that a CanAttack is false, and it looks like it's causing a 5-second wait. And no matter how many times we enter that attack sphere, we still have that minimum wait time. Now we can go ahead and set this back to a second instead of 5 seconds on the enemy BP. I'll see you in the next video.